The buzzword in the world right now is startup. Even in India, you must be knowing that, everybody is thinking about doing something of his own or her own. That's called startup, starting an enterprise by themselves. Unfortunately, if you look at the figures, the success stories of startups, you will be slightly disappointed. India has got a higher failure rate for startups, Some report says that 96% of the startups fail. Now the question is, why startups fail? Is it because the product is not good? Is it because the idea was not right? Is it because the market was not ripe enough for that particular product? Telling you very frankly, after interacting or mentoring many startups and also helping through our Brahma Consulting a lot of startups to really streamline their operation, I can tell you that it is not the product, it's not the idea, it's not the technology which really makes startups fail or succeed. It is much beyond that. It is different than that. It is something which is different from all that. When someone starts a business, I always believe that he starts as a technician. I always start a business based on the kind of a skill or a knowledge I have. That's called a technician. I have some kind of a technical know-how. It could be, suppose I want to start a bakery, and it could be my expertise in baking. I want to start a digital marketing company, and it may be my expertise in running digital campaigns. So some of the skills or some of the competencies, some of the knowledge what I have, which is actually getting translated into business, that's called the technician part of it. So every entrepreneur is a technician. Only a technician can become an entrepreneur. So that means there is a technician within every entrepreneur. Second role an entrepreneur has to play is a manager, because he has to manage his business, he has to manage people. And third role is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means someone who is running his own business, self-driven, taking charge, taking responsibility for his failures and success, that level. Now the point is, what is the difference between these three roles? And why is it so significant? I've seen that many youngsters get into the startup world with a lot of dreams, a lot of entrepreneurial spirit, thinking that I can do a lot of things in my life. I wanted to be free, I wanted to really achieve financial freedom and all those kinds of stuff with big dreams. Many of them get into the business, or most of them get into the business thinking that my business also will be a multi-billion-dollar business one point of day. Most of them get into the business, or almost all of them get into the business with a dream, with a statement that this business, this idea is going to be a multi-billion-dollar one. But what happens is that when they get in, they are getting in with the technician knowledge. And if you don't have that manager skill and the entrepreneurial skill, you will remain as a technician forever. As an employee, you must have been working from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Here, in your own business, you may be working from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock in the night, because you are a technician and you have to do it everything by yourself. A technician is a doer. Manager is a leader, someone who is leading a bunch of people. An entrepreneur is someone who wants to see things in process, things in systems. Now, when you are starting a business, you cannot hire managers and all those things. When you are starting a business, you have to take all these three roles, and you have to successfully perform in all these three roles. You need to be a technician, you need to be a manager, you need to be an entrepreneur. I always recommend the startups to dedicate some time every day in different roles. You can actually define the time zones where you are going to be an entrepreneur. You can define the time zone. During that time, you're going to be the manager. You can define the time zone where you're going to be playing as a technician role. Technician means you are actually applying your skill and knowledge by hands-on. Now, let me give an example. Suppose you have a product. Suppose if it's an IT product, or any product for that matter, you need to sell it. You need to get that product into the market. So that means you have to go out and sell the product. Now, the question is that do you have the selling skills? Most of the entrepreneurs, I'm an IT guy, I'm a biotechnologist, my knowledge is in research, my knowledge is in developing the product. I don't have any idea about sales. But I'm telling you very frankly, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to sell. You have to. I have seen people committing mistake when they start the business. They take some funds, maybe take a loan from their parents and start the business and immediately appoint a sales manager and ask them to sell. Now the question is that you have never sold that product and you are asking somebody else to sell the product. Do you think that he's going to do justice? He's going to come back and tell you 101 excuses, and then you will say that, oh my God, okay, is it so difficult to sell? So the first thing is that an entrepreneur should be a seller. he should go out and sell. If you have a hesitation to sell, better you don't be an entrepreneur. So you have to take the role of the sales manager for some time. I come across a few businessmen in Dubai. Very interestingly, on their table, I have seen two different types of cards. One is the CEO and director, and the other one, the designation is sales manager. I said, why you have two cards? They said, sir, I am alone, I'm running this company by myself. So I need to go out and sell. When I want to go out and sell, it is not good to give them a card of a director and a CEO. It's always better to give the card of a sales manager. So I take up the role of a manager for that time being. So this is called the role definitions. You are going to play the role, okay? You are going to play the role of a manager for that period of time. You cannot say that I have started a business, I'm the business owner, I'm not going to go out and sell, I don't want to meet customers. Sorry. In the beginning, you have to do it. You are a technician, you have to do it. You have to do the thing, then you have to take the product and go out and sell. So you have to play the role of a manager. At that point of time, don't behave as if you are a big business owner who is going to build a business which is going to be multi-billion. You are a sales manager, okay? And then at the same time, you are an entrepreneur. Primarily what happens when you play the role of a technician, and when you only play the role of a technician from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the night, you don't ever get a time to play the role of an entrepreneur. Problem is, an entrepreneur is the one who is a visionary, who has to think beyond, who has to think about the future. You never get a time to think about the future, primarily because you're too much involved in the day-to-day affairs of the business. Sorry, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe that you have to totally get engaged yourself in the day-to-day affairs. It's fine, but at the same time, keep about half an hour to 1 hour and behave as if you're an entrepreneur. Sit in the cabin and think, visualize where your company needs to go. Set out your plan, and if you have a vision board, look at the vision board and see how things are going. So what I recommend to any startup is that you need to play all the three roles at the same time. You need to be a technician, you need to be a manager, at the same time you need to be an entrepreneur. And once you play these roles, these three defined roles, you can see the magic happening. I can tell you one more thing. If you haven't played the role of a manager, if you appoint someone from outside, and you are going to hear all the kinds of excuses from that person because you have never done it by yourself. So do it by yourself for some period of time. You have to soil your hands. Nothing is free in this world. There is no free lunch. So play all the three roles, define time zones for all these three roles, and I can tell you that you can actually balance your business in a beautiful way and really take your journey towards that multi-billion-dollar enterprise. See you next time. Bye.